For bleakness shall cover the earth, thick bleakness. Sigh. Whew, we have been talking, and I'm hearing your beyond exhaustion, and I'm hearing your desperation. I'm hearing your sense of betrayal, wondering how and if we'll ever get out of this. And I used to find the expression, the only way out is through, very helpful. I actually used to find lots of expressions helpful that don't seem to be helping right now. But when the way out feels impossible to see, it's hard. And when the through isn't purposeful, it's bleak. And you may not read this beat, but the church world is going through its own upheaval right now. Clergy of all ages are leaving their congregations in droves, especially the younger clergy. And it's not to go to other congregations, it's to stop pastoring altogether. Pastors are in vocational crisis, much as many in other fields are as well. And pastors and many of us are just not okay. And there are a number of reasons for this with the pastors, but one of them is this: it's that bleakness. It's the pressure to find a new word, a helpful way to encounter the bleakness, because we want to help. And maybe sometimes we do help. But though there is good news, and yes, there is always good news, we can't always summon it. It's hard. But you know what? I actually do have good news. And somehow God has sustained me in some sense of hope. My hope shifts, but it's there. And just to be clear, so long as you'll have me, I'm not going anywhere. I love what I do, and I continue to love serving you. I have no confusion about this. I see what we are doing to educators, and I'm sick. And let me just say, as a parent and as a New Yorker, we are with you, educators. We are with your students and your staff members, everyone. And then I hear healthcare workers desperately crying out for help. And to the healthcare workers, I just want to say on behalf of this congregation that we are doing our very best to hold the line on infections. It had been my great hope that we would return to in-person worship as soon as even next week. I thought that maybe in December. But we are postponing this return in large part so that we can do our part in keeping hospitals from being overwhelmed. Staying home as much as we can, not gathering in person for a little bit longer until this surge subsides, is precisely how we love our neighbors. We love you. I see public health officials attacked and threatened and ignored. I also see the erosion of trust as agencies show such deep political calculations as scientists scream into the void. And I talk to artists like so many of you who are seeing your shows and your gigs canceled. And I linger here for a moment, not just because I come from a family of incredible professional musicians, but also because it's especially heartbreaking when, after all the years and years of training and sacrifice, all the rejections, all the auditions, the lean years of income, you finally break through. But then with the shows canceling, I know it's gutting. I see you with desk jobs when it's getting so difficult to even just craft an email. I see you in retirement, missing the hugs of family and loved ones. The isolation can be crippling. And I know that doesn't even cover everyone, but my point is that I see you. And is that maybe the good news? I think it might be part of it. Because perceiving the other and caring about their truth, this is what we do. There are so many forces that are telling us to keep our heads down and to produce. They're saying, don't look up, right? Because when we do look up, when we pick up our heads and we see, then we start to perceive and we ask questions and we resist. We resist the forces of evil when we listen to each other and care for each other in mutual aid. Not just individually, but collectively. When we do this, we are resisting evil. And it is possible, friends, it's possible to slow down the spread and get things under control. It just requires the people in charge taking care of things so that we can protect the most vulnerable. If we can find $770 billion to fund the military, which is, by the way, $52 billion more than they even asked for in 2022, then we can pay people to stay home for a few weeks. But it requires us to look up and look out and sacrifice just a little bit more. And bleakness shall cover the earth, but for how long? I think this passage from Isaiah helps because the prophet is telling us just what we need to do. Arise, shine. Our light has come. And that light that Jesus shines on this situation is there to show us the way out of this. That for the first time in this nation, first time ever, we must lead with compassion first. And I know that sounds far-fetched, but the truth is that this system cannot and will not hold. Greed for a tiny number of people while the rest of us are left to die will only work so long as we let it. But Isaiah says, arise, look up. We can do this. And this is why I love what I do, because I see you and I love you and I see what can be. You are my hope. And y'all, we can change this world. With the hope of God, we shall change this world. Are you with me? Arise. Amen.